shorty, okay, shorty, okay, shorty, okay, shorty, okay, shorty, okay, shorty, go to that bag, go to that bag, go to that bag, go to that bag, okay, shorty, 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 go to that bag, go to that bag, go to that bag, go to that bag.
I play with y'all boys, man. I'm sorry, bro. I went through a full workout today. That's tough. But we got. Hey, my screen on me, that's tough. But we got. We got more Spider-Man Brand New Day news. And this time, we got the full suit reveal, guys. Let's get into it and see what Emergency Awesome is talking about, man. Oh my goodness. Okay, they got the whole, you know what I'm saying? They're filming him with a suit on it. That's tough, bro. Look, just bringing back TASER vibes, man. You feel me?
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. There's a bunch more footage of Spider-Man, so we'll break it all down. They're filming a big fight scene between Spider-Man and his villains during Spider-Man Brand New Day. That's where a lot of this is coming from.
Everybody on TikTok been saying it's about to be peak, and I'll be seeing TikTok edits of this. You feel me? I'll be seeing TikTok edits of the Spider-Man trailer we got yesterday when they revealed this too. I've been seeing edits already. That's tough. Y'all making edits already?
A lot of eagle
and the video came for like 1 minute, and the next thing you know, we see edit. Like, bro, what the?
Live viewers catching all those pictures and video for J. Jonah Jameson, and I do think that he is going to be in the movie in some way too. For those asking if J. Jonah Jameson is coming back for this, it would be weird if there was a Spider-Man movie and he was not in it in some way. Clearly, you can tell it's early days right now. They just started filming, but there are a couple of foundational Spider-Man characters you just expect to show up in every single movie. As you can see, probably one of the most obvious things here is we get a much better look at his new suit in broad daylight. The new Spider.
Bro, like you can. That's more TASER-ish, bro. Y'all can't tell me it ain't, gang. That's more TASER-ish, bro. He got. You can say. I feel like he got more inspired from Andrew's Spider-Man than Tobey's, bro. I feel like, in a way. You feel me? Like the logo. Okay, the logo is like Tobey's at the top, and then at the bottom it's Andrew's. That's tough. I ain't gonna lie. That's hard.
Spider-Man symbols on his chest and his back.
The full suit is more of like Andrew's. I feel like he got more inspired from Andrew's Spider-Man.
Way more Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield inspired. A way better look at his actual mask, which we didn't get in the previous trailers that Sony released the last couple of days. There were a lot of questions about whether his mask was going to change or the eyes were going to change. We get a much better look at his shiny new web shooters, and some of the villains have even started posting from behind the scenes because it seems like they're at the set filming too, including Michael Mando's Scorpion character. Really seems like he is excited to be in this movie and wreck him some Spider-Man. Since everybody's been capturing all these scenes, pictures, video, there's also been separate reports.
The mask is the same, but it's given kind of like the PlayStation game's Spider-Man mask. Like, I ain't gonna lie, it's giving that.
About some of the other villains that are in the movie.
Like more common accurate, you feel me?
So we'll break them down too, because they seemingly confirm some of the leaks from several months ago that a lot of people were questioning the accuracy of. Now it kind of seems like some of them were pretty close to the mark. There's a lot to unpack here, so we'll break it all down. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. First big thing, much better HD look in broad daylight of his new suit. Now, the reason why you're seeing wrinkles, the reason why it looks like he's a little out of shape, is just because this is the practical suit that he wears on set when they're filming. Because of the raised webbing, it actually reminds me of the Captain America Civil War practical suit that he wore on set when they were filming outdoors for that. Now, very different suit in general, but it still had the raised webbing on it. It was weird that they then took all that off with CG to make the Stark Tech suit.
But the raised webbing kind of makes it the best part of the suit, low-key, because it's like more common accurate, you feel me? Or no, like more like Tobey and Andrew Spider-Man.
Look completely different. Like, why would they put him in the more Tobey Maguire looking Spider-Man suit while they were filming on set and then completely change that for the actual final movie in post-production?
We ready?
Man, bro. That we ready just gives you chills every time, gang. I I ain't gonna lie.
First, we offer overnight boarding. Your pet will stay
Especially the background music. He said, "We ready?"
overnight in your sitter's home and not only be treated like part of the family, but
What they'll do with these new scenes of him filming for Spider-Man Brand New Day is they'll tune this up in visual effects post-production after the fact, so it'll look way cleaner on screen, like way less wrinkles, but you'll still get that very homemade vibe, like he made this suit himself. So it's meant to look like he made this suit himself, like he's damaged it and repaired it with his own sewing machine, not a super advanced Stark Tech creator. This isn't meant to be like the advanced suit where he had access to all of Tony Stark, Iron Man's technology to fabricate himself that brand new suit. In any of the technology that he has baked into it seems like it's since been taken out, like it is much more of an actual cloth-based suit, and the only real technological parts of it are the eyelids, which he took from his previous Stark Tech suits, the many different ones, and the web shooters themselves, which are mechanical web shooters like the comics. And even though this could change in post-production, it seems like he has no utility belt on this. But if you actually look at the mask itself, the eyelids look fairly similar to the previous versions of his eyelids. I think the idea is that he just took them from his previous suits and literally just stuck them on the new mask when he made this new suit. And probably one of the most hotly debated things that I've seen the last couple of days since Sony started posting their official trailers, the official looks at the suit itself, is whether or not this new suit that you actually see him in that footage is the exact same suit as the final swing suit, as they're calling it, at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home. When you really look at it, this suit actually does look very similar, if not the exact same as the final swing suit, but the one in the final swing scene at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home didn't seem like it had the raised webbing on it, so it does seem like there have been some changes to it. There are also a lot of people that are wondering if this suit is the exact same one, is the one from the very first, very cryptic teaser that Sony released, where you actually see the zoom and enhance, like super close-up textures of the actual new suit itself. There are a couple lines on that video that just seems like they're different from some of the suit lines in the symbol.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing too. I'm like, wait, is this a... I'm confused. Is this a different suit that they showed in there? Like, I'm wondering. Like,
on the separate video that they released. So is it possible that Spider-Man creates another new suit during the events of this movie, and the one that they're filming, like this practical suit, is just the final swing suit with a slight tuning to it like the raised webbing, and that's about it? It is totally possible they could change any part of this suit in visual effects post-production.
I mean, that's what usually happens with Tom Holland Spider-Man. Like, he has the suit he's been wearing, and then the next thing you know, like towards the end or something, or when you lose like a fight, he ends up getting a new suit. I feel like maybe they might do that again. I don't know.
When they're filming stuff, it's usually just meant to be a broad template. So I think this is just meant to be very, very close to what the final suit will look like in the theatrical cut of the movie when they're done with all the effects. And I do think that the suit that he's wearing in the movie will be different. They'll call it something different from the final swing suit at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home. But for the most part, this new suit is just a slight evolution of that final swing suit. It's not meant to be completely different.
I need a suit.
Suit?
As you can see, he looks super jazzed up to be back and doing all this. Like, you see him spending time with all the crowd here, actually just waving to them, going up, taking pictures with them. Even little kids on set, him doing videos with them, doing Spider-Man poses. It really does seem like Tom Holland enjoys being Spider-Man and being in these movies. Kevin Feige did make it sound like Sony is planning on introducing the Miles Morales character in live action, and he will sort of fill the gap when Tom Holland's Spider-Man is not around, or when Tom Holland himself feels like taking a break from the Spider-Man movies.
You heard that? Hey, man. Cash your boy. I'm here for it, man. Real talk. Come on, Sony. Come on, Marvel. Cash your boy.
Kevin Feige literally said Sony told Marvel, the MCU people, to stay away from Miles Morales in live action, so that's why you haven't seen him since the events of Spider-Man Homecoming, and it really was just a name drop during a deleted scene in that movie. Now we know it's because Kevin Feige was literally told by Amy Pascal, the Sony powers that be, that they should not touch the character because Sony's planning on doing him after they're done with the Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse movie. My early assumption right now is it just implies that Sony is going to make Miles Morales the main Spider-Man of all the spin-off movies that they plan on doing when they reboot their Sony Marvel universe of characters. Just like Marvel on the MCU side of things seems like it is going to reboot things in a much bigger way after Secret Wars. Kevin Feige's term for that is a reset of singular timelines, but essentially that means reboot in a way. But it seems like what's going on during this big scene that everybody's capturing with Spider-Man fighting people on top of the tank is he's also trying to pull people out of the tank. Based on the DD symbol and number on the side of the tank, I think the tank itself actually comes from Damage Control. It makes sense that they would have more hardcore gear like this.
Department of Damage Control. We have a warrant for the arrest of Peter Parker.
I finally got my claim for my car accident. They only offered me $5,000.
$5,000? I had a car accident.
Maybe they just have it in the movie initially, and then eventually it might be co-opted by Mr. Negative's Inner Demons gang because their symbol also seems like it's branded on the truck itself. Maybe they're saying that Martin Lee, Mr. Negative, has some ties to Damage Control, but it just seems like Damage Control is going to be a force that's in the movie and also might be tied to a lot of Punisher's upgrades that he gets. I know there are a lot of you asking if Punisher's ever going to get a big War Machine type of upgrade. Why wasn't he in the Thunderbolts movie? We will see how far they take that during this film. There were a lot of questions about what the Punisher could possibly do against the Hulk in Spider-Man, because even though Spider-Man, obviously not a villain, he might be fighting him, how could he fight Spider-Man and how could he fight the Hulk without a big upgrade? Spider-Man is very...
So Punisher gonna need some type of big old gun to blast that. I ain't gonna lie.
Very strong, but not nearly as strong as the Hulk. But his real big advantage is actually evading the Hulk. You cannot smash something that you cannot catch. Michael Mando's Scorpion posting from the set of the movie inside his trailer, talking about stinging Spider-Man, implies that he also might be part of this big tank fight scene. Maybe he's associated with Martin Lee's Inner Demons gang. Maybe he's just working with Martin Lee, Mr. Negative. Based on all of his scenes and everything they did during Spider-Man Homecoming with the Vulture and all that Chitauri technology that got repurposed and all the technology that Damage Control has too, it just seems like Scorpion will also be a suit-based, technology-based villain. Here's where we actually get to some of the other villains in the movie. So a lot of people asking about this leak that actually came out months and months ago at a consumer products meeting where somebody actually attended and posted that there were promo images tied to Spider-Man Brand New Day that featured a bunch of other villains like Boomerang and Tombstone, but a lot of people were like, maybe this is just for the toys. Maybe this is just for the merch. It has nothing to do with the actual final movie. Now it actually seems like that might be more legit and some of those villains are actually in the movie in some way. Just the last couple days when all this video and pictures started posting, it was reported that Tombstone, Tarantula, and Ramrod, maybe Boomerang as well, are also in the movie in some way. Tombstone, very big Spider-Man character, has been featured a lot in the Spider-Man games, the animated series. They literally just had another version of the character, completely different from the comic book version, but a version on Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man set in another universe. This would be the first time that we've actually seen the character in a really big live-action Marvel movie. Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man did a slightly different version of his origin story that has some echoes of the comic book origin with the Diox 3 serum that mutates him. The whole idea is that he has albinism, which is why he looks like the way he does, but the Diox 3 chemical that he was doused with mutated him, making his skin virtually indestructible. In classic Stan Lee fashion, he also has a bunch
Bro, imagine seeing Tombstone in live action game. Crazy.
of other superpowers too, like superhuman strength, reflexes, stamina, just durability in general, which makes him more of a threat to actual Spider-Man. Next big villain is Tarantula, which actually seemingly confirms one of the iconic comic book covers on the inside of Destin Daniel Cretton, the director's office, that he was trying to recreate in the movie. One of the covers was Amazing Spider-Man 134, with Spider-Man attached to the building about to fight Tarantula. So there are a lot of questions about whether or not he was actually going to be in the movie. Now it seems like he will be in some way. He did get some powers later in the comics, but this version in the MCU might just be a technology-based.
I mean, this makes sense though, because I remember when it first was announcing it, still was like, Spider-Man, this is gonna be a new, different type of Spider-Man movie that we've never seen before. So I mean, this could be true with Tombstone and all these new villains for the first time in a live-action Spider-Man movie coming into it. Like, I'm just saying, bro. They said this is gonna be new and different, so.
Film, because that's kind of the theme that they're going with right now. Like, we're slowly seeing them introduce mutants and other biologically powered people, but I think they're saving most of that for Secret Wars in the classic X-Men coming back, then the reboot X-Men movie with all the traditional X-Men going forward in Marvel Phase 7. Then another villain that's being reported in the movie, seems like it's going to be a lesser villain, is Ramrod, who's actually a Daredevil villain, or more of a Daredevil villain, who just happens to be a cyborg. He debuted in Daredevil number 103 in 1973. Generally makes sense that if there are going to be a lot of ground level stuff going on in this movie, and a lot of Daredevil associated characters like Punisher, for instance, that they include some of those villains from the comics. Also flows with the idea that most of the villains that Spider-Man is facing during this are technology-based villains. He doesn't have any really big powers, just enhanced strength, speed, durability, stamina, reflexes, agility that you would get from being a cyborg. And if this old leak is to be believed, then Boomerang is another one of the lesser villains in the movie, also would be a technology-based villain. He's appeared in both Daredevil and Spider-Man comics. He's been part of the Masters of Evil, he's been part of the Thunderbolts, so he's just been all over the place in the Marvel Universe. There are a lot of different ways to explain how some of these villains wind up working together, and it seems like Mr. Negative, if he really is in the movie, would be the much bigger main villain of the film. So it's possible that Mr. Negative has some ties to Damage Control, and that's how he helps equip some of these villains and bring them together. Like in his regular life as Martin Lee, he has some pull, and that's how they come together slowly, because Michael Mando's Scorpion should still be in prison technically for the events of Spider-Man Homecoming.
I've got some boys on the outside who would love to meet him. You know, take a picture, slice his throat, put his head in a dryer.
That's wild.
There were a lot of questions about whether or not Mayor Kingpin and his anti-vigilante task force had something to do with Scorpion making it out of prison, if he's just basically giving people work release in exchange for helping him take down Spider-Man, Daredevil, Hulk, all the other superheroes and villains, just because of what's going on during the events of Daredevil Born Again in the big name drop that he gave to Spider-Man during that. Most of the people that are reporting which villains are going to be in the movie are also reporting that Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin will not be in the movie. Maybe there'll be some light references to him in the background, but the way that Vincent D'Onofrio's talked about it too also implies like he might not be in the movie. When people were asking him, he just said, well, it's really kind of up to Sony because Sony has the movie rights, Marvel doesn't have the movie rights, they only have the TV rights, which is why I'm on the Daredevil Born Again TV show, but I haven't been in the Sony movies yet. So the bad news is we might have to wait a little bit longer to actually see Spider-Man go up against Kingpin at some point.
Hey,
there were a lot of other...
That would be crazy if we do get a moment where Tom Holland's Spider-Man gets the symbiote and he ends up like fighting Kingpin. Like, that would be crazy.
Marvel actors that were also posting around these Spider-Man official releases, and it seems like Ned Leeds posting on this saying we're back also implies that Ned Leeds will be in the movie in some way, but I don't expect him to be a real big main character.
Yeah.
Previously, it was also reported that Zendaya would also be back in some way for the movie, but also a much more reduced, smaller role because of the events of Spider-Man No Way Home. Generally seems like Marvel's trying to introduce a bunch more supporting characters for this next Spider-Man trilogy that are close to him, like new friends that he meets, but also keep his old friends in his orbit. There's a bunch of other stuff going on here, like I didn't address any of the Sadie Sink character or any other multiverse elements or Avengers Doomsday stuff. I did talk about that in my other Spider-Man videos though, so I'll link those at the end of this. There's just a lot that seems like it's happening in this movie. What I'll probably do is just wait a little bit longer for bigger footage and more things to actually release officially before doing my next big Spider-Man video. They literally just started filming, so do not be surprised if we actually get some more next week sometime. There's just going to be a lot of Spider-Man stuff happening for the next couple of months. I know I joked in my last movie about the Spider-Man suit that I have just sitting around waiting for me to try on, but there's also a couple expired products that I have from the Spider-Man No Way Home marketing. Maybe I'll break that stuff out for some of these videos too. Everybody click here and here for my other real big Spider...
Hey man, let me know what y'all think is gonna happen in the new movie, bruh. Who you think Sadie Sink character gonna be? Cause they still haven't said that yet. Yeah, I'm waiting to see who she gonna be. And if you're excited for this movie, bruh, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch y'all boys next time, man. Adios.